In this video, let's try to understand how to achieve method level security by using the approach invocation authorization. So in invocation authorization, we can configure authorization rules which will decide a method can be invoked or not. And this authorization check can happen in two ways. One is before the method is invoked using pre-authorization annotation, and the other one is once the method is executed by leveraging post-authorization annotation. Think of a scenario where inside your application, you have a method at the service layer which called loan service, and there is a method called get loan details. So this method will return all the loans of a specific user. So for such methods, if you have a requirement where you want to configure authorization rules like only an admin has to invoke this method or only the person who logged in can get his own loan details but not other details, in such scenarios we can use pre-authorized annotation on top of the method. As you can see, so these are all the ways of how we can leverage pre-authorized annotation. The very first annotation line will check whether the user logged in has a role of admin using has authority. But if you are using roles, we can also use has role. And if you have multiple roles and a person who has any role like admin or user, then you can leverage has any role method. And at the same time, we can also write Spring expression language expressions inside pre-authorized annotation. So this is the reason why pre-authorized and post-authorized are more powerful compared to other annotation styles like @secute and @role allowed. And at the same time, we can also use has permission method also, which is provided by Spring Security Framework to decide whether a person or logged in user or the invocation party is authorized to invoke that method or not. So this is how we configure pre-authorization rules in the invocation authorization approach. Similarly, you may have a requirement once a method has been executed. I don't want to stop the method execution, but once the method has been executed after my business logic did some database interactions and it is trying to load certain data from the database inside that method. So in such scenarios, if I have a requirement where only certain users with certain authorities and roles only should be able to receive that return values, then I'll go with the post authorized. But please remember, if you use post authorized and the user is not authorized to invoke that method, post authorized will still execute the business logic present inside that method, like it will commit the transactions to database, but while returning the values to the user, if the authorization rules are not satisfying, then it will throw 403 error, which is an exception. But please don't expect your database transactions to be rolled back, because even if you keep @transactional annotation on top of your method, the committed transactions to the database will not be rolled back. That's why please be careful, and you can expect the most common scenario that we can use is pre-authorized but not the post-authorized. But Spring Security provides you both features so that you can use based upon your requirement. So just like how we have has authority, has any authority, has role and has any role, if you have a complex permissions like that you want to apply, complex authorization rules that you want to apply based upon the data that it comes from the method and based upon certain business requirements that you have which you can't put inside this annotation brackets, in such scenarios you can write your own permission evaluator class by extending this permission evaluator interface and overriding the method has permission. So in such scenarios, whenever you use has permission, the logic that you have written inside your permission evaluator implementation class will be executed to decide whether the given person or given client is authorized to invoke that method or is authorized to get the results from the method whenever you use pre-authorized and post-authorized annotations. I hope it is making sense. Let's try to go and do some hands-on in the next video. Thank you and bye.